Welcome to Manifesting a Life. When my son was little, we had these playing cards. In fact, I had them from when I was young. And on the face of them, they had pictures of fish, different types of animals, different types of birds. And we would play a game with it. I'd shuffle the cards and we'd turn them over so you couldn't see the face of them. And then we would take turns guessing what that top card was. I'd put my hand over that top card and I was actually kind of feeling for it. I had developed my intuition enough where I could kind of I was feeling if it felt furry, if it felt feathery, if it felt scaly. I often got the birds and the animals mixed up because furs and feathers, I had a hard time with that. Maybe if I'd been focusing on something like hard, like a beak or talons, it might have worked better. But I was impressing my son apparently, and I didn't realize how much I had been impressing him. He took those cards and was practicing on his own. I didn't really know this was going on until later, much later. Well, when he was entering 8th grade, we decided to start homeschooling. This was in Texas. Homeschooling was fairly easy to do in Texas. They consider it to be a private school. And it wasn't that he was failing the school, it was that the school was failing him. He was really highly intelligent in the math and sciences, and we wanted him to be able to soar with it. And they kept trying to hold him back and hold him back and hold him back. And it's like, this isn't working. So we looked around to see what else we could do that he could learn from. And there was something called One Day Academy. It met at a Bible church. And they had various classes, and we got a list of their classes, and my son was really interested in the logic class. So I signed him up to take the logic class. It was him and one other little girl that was in the class together. And the teacher apparently played this game with them, where she had written points on one side of a card, index cards, turned them over on the table, and then asked each a question. And if they got the answer right on the question, they got to pick a card, and that was how many points they got. Well, when he would answer the question correctly, he would run his hands over the tops of the cards and fill out the highest point card. And he did it consistently enough that it was freaking her out. She called me up one day after class and said, "I think your son is into devil worship." I think, oh dear, I wonder what brought this on. And she told me what was going on, that he was waving his hands over these cards and he was always picking out the highest card. And I had to take a deep breath and realize where she was coming from with her fundamentalist Christian beliefs. I'm a Christian, I'm not a fundamentalist. I like to read the Bible, but it has a lot of depth to it. There's a lot more there than just the surface. They're missing so much if you just look at the surface. And so I said, okay, after taking a deep breath, I said, yes, God gives us each talents, but it's up to us to develop those talents. And so we have encouraged him to develop his talents. That's one of his talents. And then after the conversation, I think it appeased her a bit. I think it gave her something to think about. And after that conversation, I talked to my son and told him what was going on. I said, maybe you could try practicing that without doing the hand motion on top of the card. See if you can do it with just your mind. But apparently he just kind of gave up on it at that point. Unfortunately, I wish he had kept it up. I would have loved to have taken him to Las Vegas. But something else we did when he was young, we'd go outside and sit on the swing sets. And this was in Texas, in the middle of Texas, in the middle of droughts. And we would call the clouds in. And just imagine the clouds coming in. And usually we would get some clouds to come in. We never got the rain. Maybe we should have imagined it raining. But we were calling clouds. That's what we called it. Call the clouds in. And so that was fun. Well, years later, when he went to college, and they got all the freshmen together before before classes started, a couple of days beforehand, to get them all to know each other and know the school and tell them a little bit more about what to expect and stuff. And they had a casino night. And he was telling me about it one time. He said that, yeah, he was doing really good at the casino night until he started getting cocky. And I just wanted me to take him to Las Vegas more, but we never got to Las Vegas. And so I just wanted to tell you that that's something you can develop. You can develop your intuition. I've talked a little bit about in the past about using muscle testing, using the pendulum, and I think those are forms of showing your intuition on a more physical form. We have these 5 senses, and we are taught to rely on those 5 senses, but we're not taught to rely on our intuition, which is a very much of a shame. It would keep so many, especially young children, out of trouble if they were taught to believe in their intuition and to act on that, and forget what everybody else is telling them. Forget about the kid, the man that shows up wants them to show him a puppy. Forget about all that. Go with your intuition and what you feel is right. That needs to be taught more than this stuff. So, let's see, have I covered everything I wanted to cover here? I believe I have. So, remember to try to develop your intuition. You can develop your intuition, or you can help develop your intuition by using just regular playing cards. Turn them over, spread them all out if you want, or leave them in a deck. And start feeling of them. And work on something like, what color is this? Is this black card, or is this a red card? And when you get fairly decent with that, start asking, is this a club, or is this a spade? Is this a diamond or a heart? And then if you get really good at that, then you can start in on, is this a jack, or is this a 9 of clubs? And you work yourself up to that. But start simple until you gain confidence in that. And so that's one way to develop that kind of intuition. Then go to Las Vegas. Okay, until next time, please hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more of these kind of stories. Hit the like button. Let me know you like these. And I'm going to keep them up. Also, if you leave a comment, that's very helpful. And it also lets me know, what area and what you're thinking of, where we're going with this. So I'll talk to you later.